Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Baltimore MuleSoft Meetup. Today's topic is integrating with Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and we will be seeing a lot of use cases and demo as a part of this meetup. So let's get started. Today's agenda would be introduction, where we'll talk about who the speaker is, what the background the speaker has, and after that we would start with the speaker would take you through MuleSoft Marketing Cloud overview, how to connect to the Marketing Cloud, what are the different use cases that he encountered as part of integration with the Marketing Cloud, followed by the demos and then Q&A. Once the Q&A is done, we would go through a trivia. We would talk about what the rules of the trivias and basically the quiz, and we'll also announce the winners based on whoever correctly responds to the trivia questions. At the end, we'll wrap it up with the MuleSoft meetup feedback and information about upcoming events. So let's get started. As you already know, Manju Kumar Hanumantappa, who's fondly called as Manju, is the one who's leading the Baltimore meetup for the last 3 years now. Manju is based of Baltimore, Maryland. He has more than 10 years of experience in integration space, primarily in TIBCO as well as MuleSoft integration. Next is me. I'm Ravi Padmanabhar. I'm a MuleSoft customer success strategic advisor. I'm based out of Washington, D.C. And I've been in the MuleSoft space for the last 4-5 years. And prior to that, I was working with respect to Java J2E as well as some cloud services experience. Today's focus is on our meetup, who is a meetup speaker, that is Akshay Lad. Akshay is a system analyst at Hexaware Technologies. He has a rich experience in MuleSoft, and he's a certified integration architect as well as certified developer, both in Mule 3 and Mule 4. He has total of 5.5 years of experience working on Mule, Java, as well as Springboard. Currently, he's working for one of the major health service providers and has architected, designed, and implemented various integration solutions for them. His primary experience is with Salesforce Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, BigQuery, AWS, etc. He's based out of India right now. And to be honest, right now, the place where he's based out of is facing a major heavy rains and flood. But still, he's trying to make it work and, come here and speak about this particular topic and has made it possible. So I appreciate his commitment for the meetup. With that, let's go on to the safe harbor statements. I just want to reiterate over here that any comments that we have been made by speaker or the host are made in individual capacity. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for the learning purpose. Organization and presenters do not hold any responsibility that the same solution will work for your business requirements. Again, that's a common statement. Everyone understands that their use case might be different. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities, and the recording of this presentation would be shared. With that, I hand over it to Akshay Lad to go over the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Akshay, over to you. Can you hear me, Akshay?
Hello.
Hey, Akshay. Yep, I can hear you now.
Hey, hi, Ravi. Yes, hi. Thanks for inviting me. Let's shall we start?
Yes, go ahead. Share your screen. I'm going to start. And meanwhile, folks, if you have any questions, as Manju mentioned earlier, pose those questions over in the chat, and we will take it up and we'll help you answer those questions either in the chat or through Akshay.
Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, it is, Akshay.
Okay, great. Thanks. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in this meetup. Today we will be talking about how we can integrate with the marketing cloud and some overview of Marketing Cloud and various use cases related to it. Just before we go into the technical part of it, I will give you some overview of what is Marketing Cloud and what are benefits of it. So, as we know, marketing is an important aspect in any business for it to become successful, and there are many instances, and uh, there are many instances for which you need to send a marketing information to a particular customer or number of customers through a number of channels and to the media of their continuous uses. So marketing cloud is one of the solution which helps us to do all these things, and this is a platform which has been provided by Salesforce to support various facets of marketing. It was initially developed by ExactTarget, and it was later acquired by Salesforce. So even today, we can see the name ExactTarget at many instances while using Marketing Cloud. So if you see this diagram, it shows various applications which are present in the Marketing Cloud. At the center, we can see there is a journey builder. So journey is nothing but an experience which you want to give to your customer. Uh, the experience can be something like when customer buys something from your let's say e-commerce website, then he would be interested in knowing what is the status of his order, like when his product is getting shipped, when his product is reaching to the hub near to him, and when his product is getting out for delivery. So all these kind of uh, experiences we can build through this journey builder. And to support this journey builder to deliver the message through the right media, as well as to build the relevant messages, there are a number of applications provided by Marketing Cloud, like Email Studio, Mobile Studio, Social Studio. These all help to deliver the message through the medium of customer choice. And we also have something like builder applications, which will help to build us the personalized or interactive content for the marketing. uh, Speaking about some of the benefits which Marketing Cloud offers is it provides unified platform for delivering relevant and seamless customer experience. It has built-in intelligence and tools to build personalized journeys across a number of channels, as I said, and to various devices as well. It also enables businesses to deliver the right message at the right time throughout the various phases of a customer relationship. And all these things together make uh, help to increase the customer loyalty towards the brand. It also has tools and data to measure the success of marketing efforts which each business is making. So all in all, uh, this is the one-stop solution for marketing for both B2B as well as B2C organizations. Uh, Now, as we have seen what is Marketing Cloud, let us see what is uh, how the data gets stored in Marketing Cloud. So before we build any kind of integration with the Marketing Cloud, it is uh, important to know how and where is getting stored. Uh, just like in the Salesforce Sales Cloud, we have some standard objects and some custom objects. Similarly, there are three types of objects in the Marketing Cloud: standard objects, data extensions, and third one is data views. Standard objects are nothing but system or default objects which are provided by Marketing Cloud, like accounts, subscribers, emails. They mostly contain information about customers to whom we want to send various marketing communication. Second type of object is data extension, which is major or most important type of object which we will be discussing uh, today in the demos. It is simply a kind of a relational database table which stores the customer or related data. So on that data, we can run queries, or we can pull information from it, or even we can send some marketing uh, communications using that subset of subscribers. And also, it is better to use the data extensions over standard objects, as data extensions are more flexible, And as well as we have an option to connect these data extensions with the CRM tools like Sales Cloud. Uh, Third type of object is data views. Again, these are system generated tables which contain information about various events or behavioral information. Like whenever we send any email through Marketing Cloud, it gets tracked here. When that email gets delivered or when that email gets opened by the customer, that also gets tracked by the data views. Uh, as well as if someone forwards that email to someone, even that gets tracked using this data views objects. So with this basic information, uh, let us try to understand how we can connect with the Marketing Cloud programmatically. Uh, Marketing Cloud gives us three ways through which we can connect with the Marketing Cloud. First one is REST APIs. Then we also have SOAP APIs, and we also have something MuleSoft out of the box Marketing Cloud connector. This out-of-the-box Marketing Cloud connector internally makes use of SOAP APIs, which are exposed by the Marketing Cloud. And in most of the use cases, we can't use any one solution. We will be as not all solutions have all the functionalities or all the uh, endpoints which we need for building integration. So most of the time we will be using one or at least two of them concurrently. And for the this demo, we will be mostly focusing on SOAP APIs and out of the box MuleSoft Marketing Cloud connector. The problem with the REST APIs is they are not matured enough right now, and also they don't provide all the operations which have been exposed by the SOAP APIs. Uh, to use any of these uh, method of connecting to Marketing Cloud, we need to provide authentication. So we have two types of authentications available. First is basic authentication. Uh, so where we can use normal username and password. So we will need to kind of create some service account, or we will need to use some users account to get integrated with the Marketing Cloud. Uh, this is the not so recommended way to integration. Second and most recommended way will be OAuth authentication, where we need to create an API integration install package, which gives us client ID and client secret. Uh, Install package is nothing but an kind of application which has access to the Salesforce or Marketing Cloud data. And this is very similar to the connected apps functionality, which has been provided by Anypun platform, uh, which enables the external app to integrate with the Anypun platform using OAuth. Let us quickly see how we can create an install package in Marketing Cloud. So once we log into our Marketing Cloud instance, at the top right corner, you will see your username. Once you click on your username, there will be a number of options. First one will be setup. So if you click on setup, you can search for install packages. Once on install packages page, we will be creating a new install package. So we can give some suitable name to it. Next thing, it will ask for what is the component type we are building. So for this, we are building an API integration component. The next step, it will ask for what is your integration type. So we have three integration types, but we will here we need to choose server to server type of integration. And at the last, it will ask for what are various permissions you want to give to your install package. So all the permissions we can select whichever we need. And once we save this, we get all the information related to which we need for authentication, like client ID, client secret, then the base URI which we need to use for authentication, and base URI which we need to use for REST and SOAP APIs. Uh, so now, as we have got some basic information about Marketing Cloud, let's uh, deep dive into the use cases. And for better understanding, I will be showing the demo for each use cases at the same time. So for the purpose of use cases, let us take an scenario. Let's say we have an e-commerce website where new customers are signing in. So we will be interested in sending the new marketing communications to these customers. So all these customers data we need to pull into the marketing cloud from our e-commerce websites database. So that is first use case, how we can import data. Uh, Along with that, we will be having some existing customers which will be browsing different products, or they will be adding uh, different products to their cart or to their wish list. So based on their wish list or buying preferences, we will be interested in sending them something cross-selling or upselling products. So even that behavioral data uh, we will be needing to import into the marketing cloud. So for this, we will see how we can import data to the marketing cloud using uh, different methods. Uh, it may happen that when we are importing to the marketing cloud, the target data extension may not exist. So for this, we will see how we can create data extension using programmatic way. Uh, Once we have the data in marketing cloud, and when we are sending various uh, communication to the customers, we may need to uh, take the backup of data, or take the data out of marketing cloud for purpose of analytics. So for this, we will see how we can retrieve data from the all three objects of marketing cloud, and at last we will see how we can get uh, attributes of a data extension. So let us start with our first use case, how we can import data to the marketing cloud using REST APIs. So Marketing Cloud REST APIs provides us two ways to import the data. One endpoint is a synchronous endpoint. It will give results at the same moment, and the second endpoint is asynchronous operation, which will process our data in the background. The input data which is required for the REST API is in a JSON format. So this is a kind of a limitation, because we may not be having a JSON format data always. We might be having CSV data. Uh, if Whenever we submit a request, in case of successful operation, synchronous API call gives us our data back as is with 200 trace code, and asynchronous operation gives us a request ID through which we can track the status of import with the 200 space code. Whereas if there is some error in the input data, uh, we directly get an error response with the 400 bad requested score. Uh, Coming to some disadvantages related to this method, then as we are sending the data as a payload to the REST endpoint, we can't uh, import bulk amount of data at a time. Uh, for synchronous API, there is limitation of maximum payload size to be 5 MB. Uh, there are also limitations with respect to number of columns or number of records which can be imported at a time. I guess there are we can't import more than 50 columns or 50 records at a time, and as these limitations are there, we may need to call these REST endpoints multiple times for reporting whole data. Uh, in that case, we will also need to honor the rate limiting which is imposed by the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So while importing bulk data, we may face problems of this crossing the rate limits. Uh, with this, let us quickly see a demo related to it. So here I have built a simple application for importing data using REST APIs. I have this endpoint operation, REST like. First step, I'm getting a R token. I have built an subflow for this. This is our request body. Client type I'm setting as client credentials, and client ID and client secret I'm taking from properties file. Uh, Using this payload, calling auth endpoint which we received when we created install package. uh, to the v2/token URI. This gives us the auth token. Token. First I'm preparing this payload for importing data into the marketing cloud. So for the synchronous operation, this is the format in which we need to send the data. Uh, First object of this station is keys. So in this keys object, we need to specify what are primary keys of our object, and in the values we can specify all other columns. So I am here importing two records, and to import I'm calling synchronous endpoint slash hub slash v1 slash data events, and here one of the important thing, customer key. So customer key is nothing but and unique identifier which gets assigned to each data extension. So the target data extension customer key we need to specify as URI parameter here. I have just hard coded it for the purpose of demo. Customer key as this string value. So if the request is successful, we will get this input data as is to the as is in the response. Uh, for asynchronous operation, the steps are, first step is same. I'm getting auth token, and then I'm preparing a input payload. The input payload structure is a bit different here. We need to send an array of items, and we can simply create a JSON of our objects, input records. And I'm calling this asynchronous REST API endpoint. Data v1 slash async slash data extension. I'm again specifying the target customer key of target data extension slash rows. To get the once we submit this asynchronous request to the marketing cloud, in the response we will be getting uh, a request ID, which we can use for checking the status of our import. So this request ID I'm getting as a URI parameter here, and I'm calling status API to check the status of the our import. Slash data slash v1 slash async the request ID URI parameter and slash status. So the status will give us whether our import has been completed or it has been failed. And to get the actual results, like in case of failure, we may need to know uh, what were different error reasons which were occurred. So for this, we have a result endpoint. Uh, just instead of status, we have slash results. So it will give us the reasons for failure. And one more thing with this asynchronous API is here I am sending the post request. So if we call this asynchronous endpoint using post, it will only insert the records. And if we try to maybe update existing record, it will throw an error. So to update any record, we will need to call this same endpoint using a put method. I'm not going in the put right now. Let us see how it works. So for this, I'm using this REST DE data extension object, uh, which right now is empty. Uh, Let me call synchronous API first. I'm so sorry. So I'm so sorry for this. Let us try for asynchronous request. Yes. So this one was successful, and we have got a request ID here. So using this request ID, we will be checking status of our import. Uh, so in the status, it is saying there were no errors and import is completed. Uh, Let us see in the marketing cloud instance. So this is the data extension object which I have used, and I tried to insert two records. So it is showing two records with the same data which I tried to import. Uh, but this, let us move to our next use case.
Hey Akshay,
Yes,
now
I will.
understand that there are two options. One is to sync and other is async one to import the
Mhm.
data. Can you explain which one we should be using and when, based on your
Uh,
experience?
yes. So in most of the use cases, if we are importing a bulk amount of data, I will recommend to not to go for REST APIs, to go for SOAP APIs only. But in case if we are importing only 2 to 4 objects or a similar kind of a small amount of data, then we can use uh, uh, mostly asynchronous operations so that it won't take much time and it will get processed faster. As well as with the synchronous operation problem is we need to format the data in the format which is required by Salesforce. Like we need to keep primary keys in the keys object and all other values in the values object. So instead of this, we can simply call this asynchronous endpoint using the all data in the single items array.
Understood. Thank you.
So, as we saw in the REST APIs, there was limitation on number of records which we can insert. So, uh, if you want to insert or import bulk amount of data, that to asynchronously, then we can opt for SOAP APIs or the same operation. This perform operation is has been exposed by our MuleSoft out of the box connected. Uh, First step herein would be to place the input file in the safe house. So safe house is nothing but an uh, SFTP location which is provided by each marketing cloud instance. So whenever you get a marketing cloud instance, you can go to setup and search for FTP locations. There you will get for information related to safe house. So first step, we will be putting our input file in the import folder of safe house. Once that is done, we can call SOAP API or we can call perform operation of out of the box connected uh, to import this file into the target data extension object. Uh, what we need to specify in this perform operation is the customer key of target data extension, then what is the name of input file, uh, what is the delimiter which has been used. Currently, it supports any. We can specify any type of delimiter. There is no restriction like which there is in, which is there in Salesforce Sales Cloud. We can specify any delimiter. Uh, and once we submit this operation to the marketing cloud, in the response, it gives us a task ID. Using this task ID, we can query on this import results summary object by querying for the task ID which we get in a response, and it will give us the status of our import. Uh, there is also a provision uh, where we can get the status on our emails. so that support persons can come to know whether particular import has been completed or not. If it is failed, then it will also having a attachment file with the reasons for failure. So that is one of the advantages here with the sorry, SOAP API operations. So it is asynchronous operations. It has provision to get notifications via email. It supports any type of delimiter, and also it supports multiple import types. So there are four import types: add and update, which is similar to upsert operation. Then we have overwrite, which will first delete all data from the data extension and load the data from input file. Add and do not update, which will just insert, won't update anything, and update but do not add, which will just update but won't insert any new records. Let us see this in working. Uh, so here I have exposed this slash object slash d and object name to import uh, endpoint. Uh, First step I'm doing is I'm querying on data extension object using the object name to get the customer key and the object ID of our target data extension. Uh, though we have this operation supported in MuleSoft out of the box connected, I personally feel it is means I can uh, effectively write this maybe XML in the way I want. So I personally like calling SOAP directly instead of using out of the box connector operation. So in the payload, I am specifying type of update which I'm getting as a in the payload. Then destination object, we will specify object ID and customer key, which we received by querying on data extension object. Uh, we can also map the field. We can do custom mapping, or we can let marketing cloud to infer the field mappings from the column headings of our input file. Then file spec, we will specify what is the input file name. File type would be either CSV or TXT depending upon type of delimiter which we are using. And this one, we can specify this notification object to get the notification on our email uh, based on the status of our import. Uh, I'm also creating an security header here. For this purpose, I'm just using basic authentication. I'm specifying username and password, which I'm getting from properties file. With these two payloads, I'm calling perform operation of SOAP APIs with the actual request body and headers. In the response, we will be getting, as I said, a task ID uh, using which we can track the status of our import. So to track the status, I'm using this retrieve entities operation of the marketing cloud connected. Uh, you want to know what these different attributes of import. For this, I'm querying on this result import result summary object using the task ID which I received in earlier step. Uh, Before seeing this in working, I will first show you how we can create data extension programmatically, so that we will first create data extension and then we will load data into it. If you want to create any data extension programmatically, uh, we can use this create request method. This is provided in Salesforce SOAP API as well as Marketing Cloud Connected. Uh, uh, we first need to give the name of our data extension, and we can give different fields which widget we have. In the fields, we can specify the field type and various other attributes, like in case of text, what will be its maximum length, whether it is primary key, whether it is required, and all other things depending upon field type we can specify. We also have option to specify two optional fields. First is category ID. This category ID is nothing but kind of a folder in which a data extension needs to be created. So if you don't specify anything here, it will get created in the root folder. And the customer key. So either we can give some unique string as a customer key in our input payload, or we can keep it blank, or we can't even mention it. So uh, Marketing Cloud will assign some random string as a customer key to our data extension object. Uh, while specifying, if we are specifying this customer key manually, then we need to keep into mind that length of this customer key, uh, though this request accepts any length, it should not be more than 36 characters. Otherwise, it may pose problems while using this data extension in the building journeys. uh, this create operation creates a new data extension, but if you want to update any field of existing data extension, or if you want to insert a new field into the data extension, uh, we can use the update method provided by the SOAP whistle. So for this, I have created this payload. Mm, I'm taking the name from URI parameter. Then this is the category ID. This is the folder ID which in which I want to create this data extension. And I'm creating this data extension with the four fields: email, name, city, and is active. My primary key would be email, and I also have an is active boolean field type, which will be having default value as true. If you don't specify anything, it will be by default set as true. Uh, Now let's see the actual working for importing using SOAP APIs, as well as how we can create data extension. So let's just first create data extension. So I'm trying to create this test underscore D data extension. Yes. So we have got successful response. Let's see uh, whether it has created or not. So the category ID which I gave was for this test folder. So as you can see, we have test D appeared, and it currently has no records with, and the fields are email, name, city, and is active, which I provided in the input payload. So uh, email address is my primary key, and as I didn't specify anything for all other keys, they are by default nullable. Uh, Let us try to import the data into this data extension. So for importing, I have already kept this marketing import.csv file in the safe house location. So we need to keep it in import directory. This is the file. So if I try to open it. So these are the three fields which I'm trying to import: name, city, and email, and three records are there. Let us try to call this import endpoint. The update type which I'm using is add an update, though I can add overwrite as well here. And I'm importing to test D, which we just created. Yes, so we got successful response, and uh, here we are getting this task ID, which can be used for tracking our import. For this, I have this endpoint. And it is saying the import is completed, and number of successfully imported records are 3, and total number of rows processed are also 3. There were no errors or no duplicates. uh, same uh, Same result I would have also received on my email, which I provided in the input request. let us see the data. So this is the test DE, and it has 3 records which we had kept in the input file. And as I had not provided is active flag in the input file, by default it has been set to true. Uh, this was all for importing. Now let us move to how we can retrieve the data from data extension objects. So as you can see in this simple image or diagram, uh, from the MuleSoft we can call extract operation, SOAP operation. This is not present in out of the box connected. Uh, when we submit this request to the marketing cloud, it will process it internally asynchronously, and it will uh, put the extracted results into the export directory of Safehouse, which is a SFTP location of marketing cloud. Uh, unlike import operation, we don't get any tracking ID here through which we can check the status. So we need to keep checking this export directory on Safehouse to see whether the file which we tried to import has arrived or not. Uh, the advantage, I would say, is we can export data in the CSV format. Uh, in the request, we need to specify the name of output file and the delimiter which we want. And this file gets exported to export directory. Advantages is this is asynchronous operation, and file can be exported in with any kind of delimiters. Disadvantages with this approach is if we are trying to import this exported file into some kind of database, then we need to keep into mind that the encoding format of this file is UTF-16. So if we import it as is without specifying encoding format, it may load some junk characters into the database. That's what uh, we faced. Uh, then there is no provision to specify the attributes which you are interested. Like suppose my data extension is having 10 attributes, but I want data of only 5 attributes. uh, this can't be done in this request, and we also can't query on the result. Whatever the data is present in the data extension, all we will be getting in the exported file. uh, Let us see this in working. So the first step I'm doing is I'm getting a customer key of the target data extension from which I want to extract the data. Uh, I'm preparing this SOAP request for extract request message. Uh, Parameter is first is data customer key, which I have got by data query operation. Uh, Whether we want column headers in uh, output file or not, and name of output file, and column delimiter. And I'm just calling this extract operation of SOAP string. Uh, so let us try to export the data from the same data extension to which we imported the data. Yep. So this is Marketing Cloud has accepted our extract request, but uh, there is no uh, tracking ID present here. We also get the name of output file here, through which we can check whether export is completed or not. So let us go to Safehouse. This exported file gets put in export directory. Uh, Let us try to refresh. Yep. So it has arrived. If I open it now, it has same data which we imported, but as I said, the encoding is different, is in different formats, so we can also see some junk characters here. Now let us move to next object type, how we can retrieve data from data views. So to extract data from data views, which contain tracking information like number of clicks, number of email sends, number of email opened, uh, we can use same extract request operation. Uh, uh, in case of data views, this extract request operation behaves in totally different way. Here we get output file in the zip format. Uh, we can also specify start date and end date, which can act as a kind of a filter. So we will get data only between these two dates. Uh, as per Marketing Cloud documentation, it says this difference between these two dates should not be more than, I guess, 30 or 60 days. But uh, I'm around 50 years of uh, difference. It still works. Uh, we also can specify the character encoding, which was not working in extraction of data extension. It works here. Uh, and to extract the object, we can specify it like extract object name and value to be true. Uh, Let us see this. So I'm preparing a SOAP request for extract operation. I'm giving a output file name, start date, end date, column delimiter to be default, and for the uh, extracting any attribute or any object, I'm just uh, giving its name, extract object name, and whether it will be either true or false. So let me try to extract this sent data view object. Uh, it has accepted our request. And it has exported the data as well. So as I said, this is in a zip format, and inside this zip, there will be a CSV file containing all the data related to emails which we are sent. Moving to the next one, to extract data from standard objects. So there is no asynchronous operation through which we can extract data from standard objects. So we need to use this retrieve request or retrieve entities operation of out of the box connector, which is a synchronous one. Uh, Issue with this operation is that it gives us only 2,500 records in the response at a time, and if there are multiple more records than 2,500, it will say overall status as more data available. So if overall status is more data available, then using this request ID, we need to keep on calling retrieve request message to get the next set of 2,500 records. So out of the box connector does internally all these things. It will, if overall status is more data available, it will keep on calling using request ID internally. But the issue which we faced is in this case, it will become very slow, and it might also go out of memory if we don't handle it. Uh, the advantages are we can select uh, whatever attributes which we are interested in. We can also specify filter conditions here, and we, we can also use this retrieve request operation to extract data from the data extension objects with the filter conditions enabled. Uh, Disadvantages, as I said, it gives us 2,500 records at a time, and if there are large number of records, we may need to keep on calling this operation multiple times. Uh, so this is the SOAP request I'm preparing. I'm taking the properties which I want to export uh, from the request payload, and I'm submitting this request to the retrieve operation. Instead of using this retrieve entities from the operation, I'm directly calling SOAP APIs. And uh, uh, this is the attributes for portfolio object which I'm trying to extract. And we will get the results directly as a response. Uh, Moving to our last use case, how we can get the attributes of data extension, so that if you want to put the data extension into some kind of table, we can create a table based on those attributes. So for this, again, we can use retrieve request method. Uh, we need to query on object data extension field, and we need to apply filter condition based on the customer key of our target data extension, and uh, we can get different attributes related to the attributes of data extension. Uh, this was for data extension, and if you want to get attributes for standard objects, then we need to use describe method, where we just need to specify the name of standard object, and in the result it will directly give us different attributes which are present under it. Uh, to get attributes of D, here I am using a retrieve entities operation of out of the box connected. I am querying on data extension field object to get name and field type, and I am giving customer key of the data extension which for which I want to retrieve the attributes. Uh, so let us try to retrieve attributes of the same data extension object which we created. So it has given all four attributes which were there, which were present there. His active name, email, and city. Uh, I That's it. What I have for today's demo, and I think we are open for QA.
Thanks a lot, Akshay. Thanks for that information. Just to add to that, folks, as you understand, it's very important to understand the Marketing Cloud's data types and how the data is stored. It's tough to integrate with the Marketing Cloud because of the certain limitation each and every operation or the step has. To have any design or architecture or development done with respect to your integrations, it's important to understand where the data is stored, how it is being stored, what is the size of the data, and then look at the limitations and the benefits associated with out of the MuleSoft Box connector, the SOAP API, REST API, and make this decision of to going ahead with that one of them. It's also important to understand that in the retrieve method of what Akshay mentioned in the last, you can retrieve only 2500 records from the standard objects. What it means is that if you have to retrieve a data from a standard object which has more than 2500 records, you have to keep on looping that. That's one of the frequently observed requirement that we see. And when you loop through it and make those further requests, you also need to take into consideration the rate limit policy that might have applied on your SFMC account. It might even prevent you from making subsequent calls if you are exceeding the rate limit. With that, Akshay and team, there are a few other questions that were asked in the Q&A section. I'll just reiterate over here for the broader audience. So the first question is, how can we insert data dynamically in the Marketing Cloud?
So by dynamically, I think
Probably say iteratively or in a schedule.
yes. So similarly, what I said, using SOAP API's asynchronous operation, we can uh, do this operation to import data at regular intervals. So we can have a scheduler job in the MuleSoft, which will see if any import file is present in the import directory or not, and it will kick in SOAP API to import the data.
Thanks, Akshay. Next question is, can I push more than 5 MB using async API? And does this have any rate limit constraint?
If you are saying REST API, answer is no. It has 5 MB constraint on it,
It was
and
async API, using async API.
oh, normal SOAP async API. Then yes, you can import as large data as you want. To be frank, we have also inserted around 200 million records using this async operation, so it works perfectly fine.
Good. Thanks.